My godmother is the one that introduced me to the Apostolic Church. I used to go to a Pentecostal Haitian church that really spoke a lot of French throughout the whole thing. I didn't understand everything, but I just knew when it was time to pray, at least, and when they're singing and all the running and screaming at that time. I was only 14. It was an interesting thing. They prayed for me a lot, though. We had times I was sleeping in the pew because they're there so long, for about 12, sometimes 1 o'clock at night, just going and just worshiping God. My high school years, it was good. I don't regret anything of my high school years. I loved every moment of it, and that's where I started to understand who I am. At lunch, you had to pick, eat, or go to Bible study. So I used to go to Bible study, but I was always hungry, so I ran out and come back in and get some food. But we used to do Bible study every lunch for about an hour of time for lunch break. And I just always had the zeal just to try to understand why my godmother used to always take me to church. I went to college in Georgia, which was it's called Andrews College. It was a junior college. I went for a full-time scholarship playing soccer. It was a great couple of semesters there. Played soccer there for about 3 semesters, and something happened the middle of the 3rd semester where my coach came to me and said, Rob, I think we might have to send you back home. And I was like, why? And he was like, because we just got your transcript and it said that you did not pass the FCAT. At that time, I was the first class to ever take the FCAT. And because of my lack of, I would say, reading back then, it hindered me with taking tests. I never liked to take the test, period, anyways, but I failed. Basically, I just failed, and I was by 4 points. I think, from understanding it now, I think God was doing that just to control where He wanted me to go, because I think I was running away from too much responsibilities at home, because I was so young when I was at that time, and it was so much responsibility, and I couldn't wait to leave. So I found a way to get a corresponded high school diploma, just take a test or so, and I did. I had to pay for it and take the test, so I did. And I went to Florida National College. And actually, I finished school a lot faster. About a year and 6 months, I got my AA in education. And then from there, I went to FIU, where I got my BA in sports and fitness and education also. And then from there, education went on. I went to do IT because I always wanted to do computers or engineering, but because of the thought of pattern of thinking that I couldn't do it because of my reading or anything like that, I went to something lower that I think, or something that I thought I was just really good at. And my teacher in Georgia said, what are you good at? I said, I'm really good in playing sports. She said, so why not be a physical education teacher? And I said, okay, I'll just do it. And I did. But I still had the zeal for computers. So I came back and I got a IT management certification, or AA at that time. And I continued. And then I went from there. So the experience just pushed me to continue to move forward. Who invited me to Penta? I remember it like yesterday because it was a life-changing experience. It was through, his name is Calvin Walker. Me and Amos, you guys know Amos, Amos was training him. And I used to work out with Amos all the time because we was playing football, semi-pro football at that time. And he said, one time I came with him, he said, oh, hey guys, I'll take you out to church. Oh, why I want to go to church? You know, I don't like it because of the experience back then of all the yelling or whatever. But he took us to the young, he said, I got a young youth group that we could take you, which was here, Pentab. And the way he lured us in was by taking us to a buffet every Wednesday. Around, let's say, 3 o'clock, he picked us up, me and Amos, and he took us there. We ate for about as much as we can, and then we came straight to church. I was like, hey, we're gonna get food, so why not? So we did. We ate, and he brought us here, and we just came continuously for a couple of months, and then it was a few months before camp, actually. And then just stayed committed, because anything usually I start, I feel like I need to finish, and that's why I continue to keep going from at that point. So he introduced me to Pentecostal. That same year, about a couple of months later, it was camp time, and all the young people, I was very excited for it. I got baptized about a month before camp. I made up my mind to do so, and we went to camp. And the 4th day of camp, we got filled with the Holy Ghost, but I don't remember what happened. I just woke up the next morning in my room. So I don't really remember what happened after that, but they told me it was crazy. So I was like, what happened? They couldn't tell me, but I knew my life was different. I knew I spoke in tongues because the next night, I just couldn't control my mouth. It was just going over and over. Even in the room about 12 or 1 o'clock at night, it was the same thing going. And I was like, not understanding deep, but I understood because they talked about it a little bit before. And it reminded me of back in the days when I was in my godmother's church, and they used to say so. I was like, what are they doing? So I remember that time. So I guess that's when I understood a little bit of what was going on. So camp, from that time, my life just never been the same. All right, the ministries that I've been in since I've been in Pentap, I would say the first one would be, I would say Sunday school teacher. I think it was good. Yeah, I would say the Sunday school teacher. It was by mistake because Kevin Davison, he knew I taught before or I went to school for it, and we talk a lot, so he said, oh, I think you can do it. And I think he purposely did it, but he said he was not going to be there, and they didn't have nobody to substitute him. And he said, can you do it? I said, all right, no problem, I'll do it. And I went, and Brother Kevin Hall, why is he sitting there? He was just sitting in the back throughout the whole thing, and he said, you know something? I think you should be a Sunday school teacher. Come to our, they was having a workshop for new Sunday school teachers, and come join. And I was like, okay, I didn't want to say no and be disrespectful to him, so I said, all right, I'll come. So I did. And since then, I was there for about a couple of years, almost 8, I would say, 8 years, until last year. Until last year, I decided I needed some time because I was doing something else, and I haven't been there. And then I also joined the media team, actually really late. I joined it really late. I was in, what else? I did the choir, actually. Yes, I was in the choir for a little bit. That was my second ministry, actually. I was in the choir. And after that, I was in the drama team. I did that by mistake also. That was Sister Annette. I think she forced me to do that one. So, but it changed me, it helped me to build confidence and speaking in front of people and doing stuff that I never thought I would be doing with confidence. So I thank God for that. I also was on the Beyond the Veil team. Then the next one was camp. That was by Eddie. I think Eddie thought about it and he introduced me to the team, and they actually accept me in. So maybe because of my background of sports and fitness and everything like that. I don't know. So I thank God for that. And the next ministry, then it was media team, and I'm still on there. And now I'm on the youth team and many others that I can't remember right now. So that's some of those there. A major decision I had to make this year on my career or my life period, and I went to Fire Academy, and I did that for about, was it 6 months, and did that, certified, got that within 6 months, then did EMT also, so equivalent to about a year, and it was great. Actually, I loved it. It was working out, helping people. I love helping people, and throughout the process of it, I remember one time I was taking a fire test and a written test, and I heard something saying like, you don't study for me like that. It's like, what is that? And I knew it was God, but I was trying to avoid it because I was like, I want to do this, but I guess because of life circumstances, I wanted to better myself and get more. I guess we always want more money, or that career is a popular career, or people look up to that career. And I was just doing it, maybe, I don't know if it was for a wrong reason, but God had other plans. And I shrugged it to the side a few times, and I completed it, and I went to camp. I wasn't gonna go to camp because I missed the camp because of it. And I went to camp this year, and throughout the whole camp, he's talking to me about because I had to make a choice. I had 3 offers to work, get paid very well, but I keep feeling that I shouldn't do it. And I was like, man, I started to think about, the money or people and stuff like that. But then I came to realization that it's not about them. I said, let me talk to my wife about it. As long as she's good, I'm good. Pentab helped to shape my life in many ways. Helped me to build a lot of confidence in myself, not just physically, but spiritually also. Because of all the ministries that I've been in, I had to step out of myself, not worry about me or people, and do whatever God wanted me to do. For the leaders that I've seen throughout the years here, that just stayed faithful through the ministry, through the tough times, the good times, and just teaching me as sometimes they don't even know I'm watching them. I was always that type of kid, and listen. If they said something, I'd rather learn from their mistakes than trying to do my own. Encouragement for the young people, I would say commitment. That's a big word. That's my word for this year, actually, to be committed. And I think it's been in my word for years, but this year just been in my heart more. Whatever I touch, whatever I do, I stay committed to it. And I know that's one of the hardest things now with this generation, because they don't commit too much or want to work hard at anything. And I would say to you, young people, trust God, stay committed to Him, and watch Him work.